Hey guys, Pie Guy Rules here, and I'm going to do something that I don't think I've really done before. I'm going to rant on a bad episode of a good show that I like. The show is Fairly Odd Parents, and the episode, Love Triangle. Before I can get into ranting, though, I need to give a little bit of backstory on the Fairly Odd Parents and, how my opinion on them, because I don't think I've ever said it. I love the Fairly Odd Parents. I love them a lot. I loved them back when they started, and I loved them up until recently. Um, a lot of people, however, have Fairly Odd Parents is kind of like a split fan base. A lot of people absolutely hate the newer stuff. Some people hate it from Poof on, which I'll be talking about in a minute. Some people hate it from, I don't know, from like midway on. Some people hate it from different points. And the reason why a lot of people started hating it around the middle of the show was because the characters went through something called Flanderization. Now, this is a TV tropes term. If you don't know what TV tropes is, go check out tvtropes.org. It'll teach you a lot. But basically, it means that it's when you take a character trait from a character on a show, usually an animated one, and you just focus in on that character trait, and you just overplay it to the point where that's their only character trait. The term comes from The Simpsons, where Flanders, who used to just be like, just a generally good neighbor who, was a Christian, just turned into this, like, overly obsessive Christian guy who couldn't tolerate any other religions and was just, like, absolutely bonkers. And that happened with every character on this show. Cosmo got stupid. I mean, he was always stupid, but he's just stupid. There's nothing else about his character to the point where it's irritating. It gets irritating. Wanda is a nag. And, she gets irritated with Cosmo for calling her a nag, but oh my god, is she the biggest nag in the universe? And it's sad because that's how the show portrays her, but in reality, she's mostly just the voice of reason. She doesn't really, nag so much as say, hey, yeah, Timmy, you kind of gotta unwish this wish because bad things are gonna happen, as they always do. Timmy's parents are just, I'm pretty sure they have mental issues because, I mean, they're Cosmo level of stupid, and it's to the point where I'm pretty sure Timmy should call, like, Dyfus or something, because, they are unfit to parent him. They really are. but, um, but anyway, I always liked the show. I stuck with it. Some of the character traits got annoying, and it had its bad episodes every once in a while, but I have to give it a lot of credit because it always was original and it always did try. Whereas in some episodes of SpongeBob, you can see they kind of phoned it in a little bit. It's lasted for quite a long time. In fact, I think just 2 years shorter than SpongeBob. SpongeBob was 99 and Fairly Odd Parents was, I believe, 2001. If you can believe it, it actually premiered at the same time as Zim. And, I mean, look at look at how much longer this lasted, although I'm pretty sure Zim has a bigger fan base at this point. But, so anyway, I stuck with the show. I forgave it for its problems, and, So, okay, so I pretty much watched it entirely consistently up until the Timmy the Barbarian episode. That was when the show was actually supposed to end. However, it kept getting extended. It got extended again, and it got extended again, and again, and again, and eventually I don't know what made them decide to do this, but they created a character named Poof, a little baby, that Cosmo and Wanda would have. Actually, specifically, that Cosmo would have. Yes, Cosmo had a baby in a special. I really don't know how to express my feelings for this. Is it funny? Not really. Is it awkward? Yeah. Was it the worst special ever? No. Was it the worst movie ever? No. It was alright. It was, the movie itself wasn't bad. It just, it caused Poof to happen, which was bad. And the whole Cosmo having the baby thing, no, it did not work. I'm sorry. It was just so stupid. And it really does beg the question of how fairy babies are actually born, because Timmy had to wish it out of Cosmo. And I mean, like, I don't want to get gross or anything, but how does that work? What, does Cosmo, like, barf it up or something? Anyway, the special is not what I'm here to complain about. However, this special was what brought about Poof, and in the season or two that followed, which I haven't seen too consistently. I keep saying consistently and consistency, but mostly starred Poof. It was all about Poof. I mean, Timmy had his episodes and stuff, but really, considering the show is about Timmy, it did focus a little bit too much on Poof for fans' liking, because the problem with Poof is he doesn't talk. That's one of the problems. The other problem is he's a baby. And the other problem is he is the biggest plot device since Dill. Because he doesn't speak. His magic is horrible, which means he's just there to create mayhem. He has no character trait. He's a baby, he doesn't have character traits. He doesn't have a personality. He can't act. It's not a character, it's a plot point. It's something that Timmy has to babysit, it's something that causes magic to go wrong, it's just a plot point more than a character, and when characters, especially babies, are introduced really late in a series, it doesn't go over well with fans. Fans use the term jumping the shark quite often, which basically means the show is ruined. Something changed in the show, and now it's just ruined forever. And while I don't agree with that, because it did have some pretty good episodes, Fairly Odd Parents, with Poof. Post-Poof. Poof wasn't in all of the episodes. They had a few good ones. Even with Poof, the first time Timmy babysat him, it was alright. It was alright. But the show had definitely changed. It definitely was showing its age, and it was showing that it's about time to pack it in. And with the movie coming up, I'm pretty sure the show will end fairly soon. Please excuse that pun. Anyway, what I'm here to talk about is the episode Love Triangle. Now, I haven't seen much of the very latest season, Season 8. However, when I was in England, I wanted to download a few episodes of just random cartoons so I could watch on the plane. So I did that, and I didn't end up watching it on the plane, but I watched it on my Mac when I got home. And I was just beyond disappointed, because I had picked random episodes, I didn't know, just episodes I hadn't seen, so I had no clue what it was about, I had no clue. As it turns out, Love Triangle is a 22-minute special, starring Baby Poof, and Foop, the anti-version of Poof, which is kind of clever, because this has to be an anti-fairy for every fairy, so, and basically, the plot of it is, there's a new girl in school, and yeah, Poof goes to school. I don't know why a baby goes to school, but, whatever. Cartoon, magic fairies, whatever. A new fairy baby, new student comes in, and she looks like a fairy to me, and apparently the school's filled with, leprechauns and other mystical creatures, because, remember, there's only supposed to be the one fairy baby, or they were the first fairy baby in years, Poof was. So I don't quite understand what this girl is, because it looks like a fairy, but I don't know. Maybe I missed that one. Maybe I just didn't understand something. Maybe I missed an episode where I explained it. I don't know. I'm not going to nitpick that. But she comes to school, and basically Poof and Foop both have a crush on her. The babies, they have a crush. Whatever. All all plain and simple, until they introduce the fact that there's a play coming up, a school play. And of course, the love interest gets the female lead in the play, so Poof and Foop fight over the role. So let's ignore the fact that this plot has been done a million times. And let's also ignore the fact that gets me really irritated that for some reason in any television show, whenever a guy is in a play, it's only to get kissed. It is only to get kissed. No one has any interest in acting. They only want to get kissed. And that's something that really irritates me, because it's not only is it manipulating the whole system and pretty much stealing a kiss from someone that's not supposed to mean anything, it's just bad for so many reasons. So the plot itself right there is just so repetitive, so boring, so been done, and I mean, there's really no interesting twists on it. Foop rewrites the play at one point. Poof actually gets the lead role, despite only being able to say Poof. Doi. And yeah, it's just so boring. Poof doesn't speak, remember. I know I keep saying this, but it stars a character who can't speak. Yeah, go figure that one. And I know it's like her, you can only say Poof and yet he still got the lead in the play, but I don't know, I feel like they'd be better than that joke. I don't know. Foop, if you don't know, is essentially Stewie Griffin from Family Guy. he is pretty much just an XP of him. He speaks in that pseudo accent, and he plans on world domination and things like that, but he constantly flip-flops between that and crying like a little baby that he is, so he's kind of funny, but the entire episode is him monologuing. It's pretty much like 20 minutes of him talking, and it gets a little irritating, and it's one of those it's one of those episodes where the villain just does not catch a break. No matter what he does, Poof is better, and really, Foop just wants to just get the lead in the play, and really, in all honesty, Foop deserves it. I mean, Foop's a little bit better of an actor than Poof, but whatever. The problem with this episode, aside from the bad plot, aside from the irritating characters, aside from the fact that Timmy's only in it for less than 2 minutes, is the fact that, to me, this screamed backdoor pilot. Now, a backdoor pilot is essentially when there's a pilot or a first trial episode for a TV series hidden within an episode of an already existing show. Fairly Odd Parents already did this before with Crash Nebula. You remember that episode where Timmy appeared for like 1 minute and it was all about the TV show Crash Nebula? Yeah, that was basically a trial version for Nickelodeon. You know, it's basically a pilot without it being a pilot. And I like the Crash Nebula one. I think it worked. But here, it does not. This episode proves once and for all, Poof does not need his own show. There does not need to be a Fairly Odd Parents spin-off. Please, 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 dear God, no Fairly Odd Parents spin-off. Haven't you learned your lesson, Nickelodeon? Haven't you, really? I mean, Planet Sheen, how well did that go over? Really not well. I mean, it wasn't the worst show, but I mean, come on, was it the hit you were looking for? No. How about all those shows that you plan on making off of movies? How did that go? Oh yeah, I heard those were canceled. How about, what else you got there? Oh, SpongeBob! Yeah, I'm sure that'll still be fresh in another 10 years. What else you got, Nickelodeon? You know, iCarly? That was good, but then you pretty much realized it was good and oversaturated it. And made it, just made everyone hate it. You made people hate your show by shoving it down their throats. My point is, and I guess the point of this entire thing, which roundabouts to just being Nick, is that Nick's running out of ideas. Nick has no ideas, and I've said this before. It's just sad that at the time of saying that, I also was berating Cartoon Network, whereas Cartoon Network has moved on and grown, Nickelodeon really hasn't. It's been in the rut it's been in for 5 years. It's not gonna change. It's not coming up with any new ideas. And now I know this probably won't get spun off into a new series. This probably isn't a backdoor pilot. But if it is, and if it was, that's really sad. And it's sad enough at the fact that, you know, the Fairly Odd Parents writers are obviously running out of ideas since they had to introduce Poof and since they had to, since they have to make an episode entirely around him. And I don't mean it's an episode with starring Timmy and him. No. This is just him. Just Poof. Just a character that can't talk. Yeah, I haven't seen such a useless baby plot device since Dill Pickles. But, I mean, that's all I have to say on that. I feel like there might be another Nick rant coming up, because, I mean, what do you got, Nick? You got, let's see, you got more boy bands, because you never done that before. You got more iCarly, more SpongeBob, because, again, those aren't getting stale. You got more spin-offs of movies and TV shows. And then you got some weird, bizarre live-action shows that, quite honestly, don't belong on the network, like Power Rangers and House of Anubis and what have you. I don't know. I give up with you, Nickelodeon. I give up. You know, Cartoon Network, I can learn to love your changes. I can learn to respect the fact that you're trying something different. But Nickelodeon, no. Sadly, you'll be still in the same place that you always will be. So, that's about enough. That's about all I have to say on the Fairly Odd Parents right now. Although I'll probably talk about it again when when the movie comes out. And oh boy, that should be an experience. Live action Fairly Odd Parents with Drake Bell. Alright, on that note, I'm gonna leave you guys, alright? So, Pie Guy Rules, out.